what I did. Oh, that's something nice. It's awesome. Showerbath Spring.
All right, today is Sunday, April 11th, 2021, and we're out at the kind of the western Grand Canyon, about to enter the Kanab Creek Wilderness and do about a week-long trip out here. We're coming in via the Jump Up cabin, and we're gonna head out onto the Esplanade for a few miles, and then eventually drop into Sowats Creek and camp by Mountain Sheep Spring. You see I got my friend Dave with me.
Hello again.
All right, so it's gonna be a pretty big, awesome trip, so yeah, let's get hiking. Alright, so we're already at Upper Jumpup Spring, and it is flowing decently, so that's a good sign. Getting some really neat layered kind of overhanging canyon walls already. And pretty good trail over here. The lower Jumpup Spring is 4¼ miles. We're gonna turn off before then onto the Ranger Trail, which follows the Esplanade. And man, it is pretty warm today and very sunny. Thinking it's well over probably 80 degrees today. We are still heading down. We're getting some neat canyon walls. This is the other side. And then looking back where we came from, this is a nice wide open wash. It's really quite easy walking. So you can see now that the canyon is beginning to open up, and we are a short ways from the Esplanade. Section of Esplanade Sandstone, and still working our way down Jumpup Canyon. Climbing up onto the Esplanade. But it is very dry. And pour-offs over there. We're on the Esplanade now, so it's going to be mostly flat walking over kind of red sand and slick rock for the next few miles until we hit Sowats Canyon. So that's the way we came back from, and we're kind of looking down into the beginnings of Lower Jumpup Canyon, and those trees down there are part of where Lower Jumpup Spring starts, but I don't know if the water is right there. I think the water's further down, kind of where this is pointed right now. Pretty windy today, all of a sudden. Before we were just getting a slight breeze, but it's so hot out here. The breeze is very welcome. We're going this way. If you keep going down, that's Jumpup Canyon. And we're headed out this direction towards a nice view of Racetrack Knoll. That out there is called the gooseneck. Oh. What's up, man? What do you think of this place?
Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Here's the sort of part of the Esplanade we've been hiking on. And Jumpup Canyon kind of runs down that way. You can barely see it in this shot. And way out there is Racetrack Knoll. And then I believe right here in the center, that's the confluence of Jumpup Canyon and Sowats Canyon. So the canyon on the left is, I believe, the canyon that we're dropping into today to camp in, and then tomorrow we'll be heading down the narrows of Jumpup Canyon. Down there is another view of the confluence of Jumpup Canyon and Sowats Canyon. So it looks like we're almost sort of paralleling where we're going to camp for the night, but way down in that canyon. If you look way out there, you can see some hoodoos across the way, and I believe where we're going to camp is going to be in the canyon, sort of below that point. And then just a little bit to the right of that last shot, you can see on the right Racetrack Knoll, and then there's kind of a canyon opening ahead of us across this way. And so if you were to take the Jumpup Nail Trail way out there, you can get up to Sowats Point. There's like a rock that's being balanced by the most precarious of sandstone columns. Notice in the bottom how this whole thing is being held up from one side and it's just teetering on this sandstone. Alright, we're just taking a break up here on the Esplanade. On the view in the camera here, you can kind of see there's this kind of little hill running down behind me, and that's where the trail is going to go down into Sowats Canyon. So we're actually really close to the canyon that we're going to be camping in tonight. Got cross bedding patterns in the rocks, and we're currently walking out on the slick rock. We are about to drop into Sowats Canyon over here. It's like, what do you mean a cairn goes right here? This actually looks like a sweet drop. So we got a little kind of baby slot down there. It is pretty cool. Kind of a little narrow section. A tiny bit overgrown, but nothing major. We are making our way down into Sowats Canyon, and the place we're going to drop down is actually past that point. You actually can't see it from here, but this is what we're going to be walking in the last half mile to our campsite. And out there, way off in the distance, which is still less than half a mile down, there's some pretty green trees, and that's where our campsite and spring are. We made it down into Sowats Canyon, so we're just going to follow the drainage a ways until we hit Mountain Sheep Spring, and should be some good campsites over there. We are just about to Mountain Sheep Spring. It's not quite as wet as when I was here last, but I see water down there. Here's the big cottonwood. And this is Mountain Sheep Spring. This is our water source for tonight. This pours right out of the canyon wall. This is gonna taste good. So we found a place to camp, and it's a pretty sweet site. Check this out. We got a little firing. We're not doing fires on this trip, but look how awesome this site is. High canyon walls. Lots of frog noise. And water's just through those trees there. We're pretty much set up for the first night, and this is a pretty freaking sweet campsite. Just have like our own like individual alcoves to put our tents in. Okay, so this part all in green is going to be where most of the trip takes place. So that's the Kanab Creek Wilderness, and today it's actually not shown where we camped at the Jump Up cabin a little bit, so it's like maybe a mile of this is cut off, but that's where the car is located. So today we hiked down this ranger trail, and we connected up, this is basically where we hit the Esplanade at. And then we connected up with the Jump Up Nail Trail, and we followed that quite a ways until we hit Sowats Canyon. Right over here, and there's no actual trail in any of these lower canyons here. So what we did is we descended down kind of pretty steeply into Sowats Canyon, and then we just followed the canyon bottom until we hit Mountain Sheep Spring over here. And so we're kind of like halfway through this canyon. And then I guess the plan for tomorrow is pretty straightforward. We're just going to be walking canyon bottoms for the next 3 days or so. And so we're going to continue down the remainder of Sowats Canyon, just follow the water. And then we're going to connect up with Jump Up Canyon again. And so tomorrow we're going to go into the Jump Up Narrows, and I think we're eventually going to get down. So the Jump Up Narrows is pretty dang long. I think it's like 4 miles, and then we're going to camp probably at the confluence of Kanab Creek tomorrow. And yeah, that's kind of the overview of the next couple days. Eventually we're going to get down into actual Grand Canyon National Park proper, but on this trip we don't have camping permits, so we're only going to be day hiking down to Showerbath Spring on the 3rd day to collect water, and maybe get as far as Scotty's Hollow and explore that area. Those are kind of some of the unknowns on the trip, and I'll kind of talk more about that as we go along. So the map that I brought for this hike is the National Geographic Trails Illustrated Grand Canyon West map, number 263. It's actually a great map for the Grand Canyon proper, but it might not be the best map for Kanab Creek, because you saw just a second ago just how small of coverage it is. It doesn't really provide a ton of detail. It's more for reference purposes. I would probably get like a Kaibab National Forest Trails map if it were me. For the next few days, we're going to be heading down a bunch of like canyon bottoms. So there's going to be kind of 2 elements to the trip. We up the up high Esplanade part, and then several days down low in the bottom of canyons. Tomorrow we're going through some narrows, and then eventually we're going to be going back up onto the benches in the Esplanade, and we're going to be doing that to loop around. So this is your first time out here.
Yeah, I mean, for my first time out here, I mean, I kind of knew what I was getting into, you know, in my mind. But once we got out here and started the hike, it was different terrains, different, you know, I mean, everything from, you know, we were walking on flat land, we would get into a little bit of elevation up on slick rock benches, down and getting into the bottom of these canyons, and, you know, running through these dry creek beds. But I mean, absolutely mind-blowing the entire way. Every turn we had, I mean, you would just turn around and you would just have a more epic view of what you saw 5 minutes ago.
I think that calls it for the end of night one. See you guys tomorrow. Well, good morning. Those frogs helped us both sleep.
Lullabied all night.
All right, we're hiking for day 2, and we're gonna just follow Sowats Canyon and the stream down to Jumpup Canyon. And we're gonna be heading down into the Jumpup Narrows and probably be camping at the confluence of Jumpup Canyon and Kanab Creek. Sowats Canyon is proving to be a very pleasant little stream hike. Cool. We are still heading down Sowats Canyon. Pretty awesome view. All right, we've reached the confluence of Sowats Canyon and Jumpup Canyon. So this is Upper Jumpup Canyon, and we'll be camping up that closer to like the 5th or 6th day. And This is the way we're gonna go down. Looks like the water is finally drying up completely down Lower Jumpup Canyon. Little lip there. We were both totally shocked when we heard running water down here in Lower Jumpup Canyon, because I hear this is kind of rare. So that portends good water luck for this trip. Okay, this is the opening to Quaggant Hollow, I believe. And right below Quaggant Hollow is the narrows of Jumpup Canyon that we're about to enter. Best part about being in the narrows on a day like this is all the shade we're gonna get. This is some quite fascinating colors coming out of these canyon walls that are on one side of the canyon, and then the other side of the canyon is a completely different color. And then there's this purple flowering plant that's full of carpenter bees. Pretty cool narrows developing. Really tall canyon walls now. Colors, just some grays and flecks of orange, kind of almost a gold color in these walls. We're getting kind of ceilings that are closing in on us. This stuff up here is really shiny. It's like polished from rain erosion. Looks like we are just about to come across Indian Hollow, and I think we're gonna turn down and follow that canyon up a ways just to kind of explore it. I think it only goes up about a mile before you hit an obstacle that requires either a bunch of people or some ropes to get up. So I don't even think we're gonna get in that far. We're just gonna kind of go in until we're happy with it and then walk back out and continue down the Jump Up Narrows. So there's another party of backpackers in the canyon. So we're kind of hearing their voices echoing right now. Check out how deep this canyon is right now. To our left, there's kind of a funny, just this little cairn over here. But this is Indian Hollow. We're gonna go up. We're not gonna go all the way up it, probably not very far, just to kind of check it out. These are pretty cool narrows. And that over there is Jump Up Canyon. It's mostly been kind of bouldery. May not look that bouldery on camera, but it is very slow walking. So what I think we're gonna do is take a quick break down here and then hike back to Jump Up Canyon, get to Kanab Creek, and then set up camp for the day. We're back in Jump Up Canyon, and got about 3 miles down to the confluence with Kanab Creek, and I think we're gonna set up camp over there. So it looks like we got an undercut over here. And it looks like there's water. So there's water dripping all over here. All these rocks are wet. I can actually feel it on the side of my leg dripping down. Kind of unexpected to see that's in here. It's kind of moss covered. It looks like we're gonna be going into the narrowest part of the narrows real soon. Again, so shiny from being polished that it reflects the sun almost like a mirror. Maybe getting into the deepest part of the narrows now. It's a nice break from the sun. Looking up at the canyon wall, the very top must be over 400 feet up from the bottom. Got this row of these purple flowering plants. I don't know what they're called, but They sure are pretty. Just keep switching between gray and orange and white. Gray, orange, white. Both tripping all the time. There's kind of this interesting looking pour off here. It kind of resembles a bit of a slot. I think this ahead is Kanab Creek. We almost have a place to camp for the night. These jump up narrows have been kind of slow walking because of all the kind of boulder hopping and river rock walking that we've done. It's pretty much the terrain of the entire canyon. So David is scrambling up to find our campsite in Kanab Creek. Oh, steep beach sand. Oh. All right. There's a couple spots up here. So this is the view from our campsite. There are few campsites with a view quite like this. So right here is the opening to Jumpup Canyon that we just came down before coming out here. And you have to realize in this shot that I'm about 30 feet up from the canyon bottom, and those are boulders out there for context. And this is our view looking downstream of Kanab Creek. Alright, it's dinner time here and it's getting pretty dark, so I think this calls it for the end of day 2. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It is day 3. Wait, is it day 3?
Day 3.
Let's go down and bug Dave for a second, see what he's cooking. looky what we got here.
Good morning.
All right, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Making a little breakfast.
What do we got here? What are you making?
I've got broccoli cheddar and fusilli pasta.
Delicious. Savory breakfast this morning.
Yeah, I had a little cheese that I got.
That's the way to do it, man.
And I got some bacon right here.
Yeah. So what are we doing today? What's the plan, man?
We are gonna go get water.
And we're gonna head down, I think, this direction today. All right, we're gonna head down Kanab Creek with basically empty packs, but we're gonna carry all our water bags and collect water down there and bring it back to camp. So we're planning on going down a few miles, at least to Showerbath Spring, and if we're able to get down to Scotty's Hollow, we'll get down there. So yeah, that's today's plan. It's just a day hike. The canyon walls now are probably the highest they've been the entire trip, at least on this layer that we're in. I have to say this is at least 400 feet high. Maybe higher. This is our first gooseneck of the day. And the whole time you're walking out here, you see these little kind of caves way up high. This is probably where all the bats live. Right below the confluence with Jumpup Creek. That's where we entered Grand Canyon National Park. And we don't have permits on this trip, so that's why we're doing this as a day hike down to at least the spring and maybe a little bit lower. So that makes our day really easy with these light packs. These canyon walls are intense. Wow, huge canyon vista opening up here. Climbed up a little bit onto some trail above the bouldery canyon bottom. Getting into cactus territory here. We are at about 2,500 feet elevation, I believe. Car is parked at about 5,400 feet elevation, I believe. So we've pretty much cut our elevation in half the last few days of hiking down. Rock. Not many that look like this out here. I just heard Dave yell from down there that he found the water. And almost kind of a little lake through here. It's hard to believe that in a couple miles this is going to turn into basically a river. It is just Kanab Creek. So there's actually some rainbow trout in here, believe it or not. Just this weird kind of toxic nuclear waste color coming out of this algae water in Kanab Creek. It's kind of cool looking. I think we're less than a quarter mile from Showerbath Spring. We're kind of up on a high section of trail that's made the walking really quick for at least a couple thousand feet. So this is looking back the way we came from, back towards our camp, several miles that way. There are rocks to walk on, but we're kind of walking in the creek by choice now because it is so hot and sunny today. It really cools you off. All right, we're on this little trail and we are about to hit Showerbath Spring. All right, here we are at last. Bad creek flowing through. Some hanging gardens in Showerbath Spring. Creek heading down canyon. Pretty crazy to think that this is here in the middle of one of the hottest desert canyons on earth. Kansas drinking straight out of the spring.
That's what I did. Oh, that's something nice. That's awesome. Showerbath Spring.
I'm gonna walk into this deep water here. Woo! It is about knee deep. I'm just doing a little exploring. Dave is at the shower bath washing his shirt out. Man, I just wrung my shirt out. That's great. There's like this deep blue water up here. Ooh, it's getting deep. I better find a better spot. So I'm currently just standing in a knee-deep pool, but it gets a lot deeper. It's basically a swimming pool. Probably gets chest deep. Just kind of walk down that over there. Showerbath Spring for a good long while and just hanging out and taking video and pictures. So it's already getting kind of late in the day. It's almost 3 p.m. So we decided instead of heading down, we're gonna head back to our campsite. And so far it's still been an awesome hike. Almost getting back to our camp right now. Super hungry. Great day hiking.
Starving.
All right, we made it back to camp. It's actually kind of late. It's already 6:14, so I think we covered around 9 miles today. It was definitely worth it to go down to check out Showerbath Spring. That was fantastic. It was even cooler in person than what like blogs made it look out to be, so that was cool. And originally the plan was to go out to Scotty's Hollow and Scotty's Castle, which would have been an extra mile down of walking, but we decided based on how late it was in the day that we would just head back up to camp. And yeah, it proved to be the right decision because it is starting to get dark. So, but anyway, the plan for tomorrow is to head up Kanab Creek now and We're gonna have to carry a ton of water for that. We're not expecting to see any water for the next 2 days of hiking. Eventually we're gonna get up onto the high benches and get back up onto the Esplanade, where we'll loop around to Lower Jumpup Spring to re-up our water supply and camp the last night. So that's the plan anyway. But anyway, it is getting dark, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, this is kind of a big deal because we're gonna check out Dave's kind of system for picking out dinner here.
It's a lottery.
It's a lottery. So basically he brought stuff and he doesn't know what he's gonna pick out for dinner. What is it?
Mac or chili mac from Redwall.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Beans, elbow mac, seasoned ground beef, and a rich beef sauce.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Jokes and everything are on the back. How much is it? 2 cups.
It's always 2 cups. Even if it says 2 1/4 cups, it's always 2 cups. If it says 2 1/2 cups, I put 2 cups. You can always add water. You can't remove it. All right, it's time to get hiking. So we're gonna head up the Hayduke Trail up Kanab Creek, about 8 miles. All right, here's a quick update showing where we've been the last couple days. So a couple days ago on day 2, we were at Mountain Sheep Spring and Sowats Canyon, and we went down there to the confluence with Jumpup Canyon and followed Jumpup down into the Jumpup Narrows, which was quite a long ways. I think it was like a 4-mile stretch of narrows, and we got down to where we're camped right now at the confluence of Jumpup and Kanab Creek. And yesterday, we just hiked down about 5 miles down to I guess that's Showerbath Spring, which was totally cool, and then we just hiked back up to our campsite. And now today we're going to be heading up Kanab Creek, up the Hayduke route, about 8 miles to connect up with kind of this section here, and I think this is called the Lawson Trail, and that we're going to camp kind of in this area here, and that's today's route. Each of us are carrying about 10 liters of water on our backs right now. The next 48 hours are going to be completely dry camping. So our packs are pretty heavy. A cool alcove up here, and looks like some pretty cool places to camp up here as well. Nice big flat area. And that's the way we're heading down, or I guess up Kanab Creek. So, just caught up with Dave, and we're at this this entrance to this sort of a slot or narrow canyon up here. I've heard people get water from this canyon. It looks kind of bouldery. This is actually kind of cool, whether we find water or not, just to kind of walk up here for a little ways and see what's up in here. These rocks are sandy and slippery, watch out. This is awesome. Look at that. So there are some kind of cowboy glyphs, I think, in the wall of this little canyon. I can't really make out what it says, but it's kind of cool. Pretty slick, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's check out this water here. It's pretty slick, huh? Not exactly an easy spot to get into. You gonna cram through there?
Yo.
A lot of water?
Freaking cool.
A lot of water back there?
You wanna hand me your camera?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a huge pool. Wow.
Those kind of cowboy glyphs, and that's way back. Our packs are just kind of sitting out there. So we're about to walk out of here, and on the other side of the canyon wall there's another cowboy glyph. Cool little side trip. Guess we're gonna keep hiking up Kanab Creek now. This is the first juniper we've seen in days. I think I'm finally catching up with Dave. He's been kind of hiking on ahead. It's kind of cool how one side of the canyon wall is kind of orange and the other one's kind of gray. Different minerals, different kinds of pour-offs. Really cool. Canyon is opening up for a brief second. Looks like we're gonna have some sun for a bit. We're just walking along the Hayduke route and we saw this baby cave. And right next to it is this big pour off and almost kind of a cave forming. Seems like we've been just walking through cactus gardens most of the day. Feels like a desert out here. I think there's a kind of a cave and sort of a vertical window out there. Just walking along Kanab Creek and found another side canyon, narrows. Don't really know what that one is called. It's pretty neat. I think our trail continues down that way. Taking a break in the shade. It has been sunny and hot, very dry. So at least we're getting this breeze in the shade. It feels Absolutely. Awesome. So I think we're probably getting close to halfway through the day's hike. Yeah, it's a hot one today. after hours of walking in the deep red sand that was getting up in our shoes to the point that we had to like stop and empty our shoes out, we decided to just walk in the wash bottom so much faster. Perfectly honest, the last couple days have been so much narrows. I was starting to get bored with narrows, so this canyon is really opening up, and just it's really cool. You can see like the Esplanade layer, and then the bigger like shelves above. We're at the confluence of Chamberlain Canyon and Kanab Creek. So right behind those trees is the opening of Chamberlain, and this is the way we're going up Kanab Creek. Would you look at this? We've been having to ration our water, and so, you know, when it's hot out, you kind of let yourself get dehydrated. Now, we're just gonna chug a bunch of water out here. Out for like half an hour at this water hole in Kanab Creek. We only have about 3.5 miles to where we want to camp tonight, but we are cameling up right now. I'm kind of walking up to see how far this steep goes up, and there's some really nice deep pools up here, and it keeps going up. Next to those cottonwoods, it's still flowing, and where we're filtering at is down this way. It's great to have water, but it doesn't taste very good. It just tastes like decaying leaves. It's pretty gross, but I won't complain about water in the desert. Back on trail, and I think we got about 3 miles to our campsite, the confluence of Hack Canyon and Kanab Creek. Would you look at this? Kanab Creek actually is a creek over here. We've been kind of walking along it. There's this trail that parallels it. One of the biggest, most gnarled up old cottonwoods I've ever seen. What an absolute unit of a tree. Canyon is just so open now. It's kind of crazy to think that we were just in some narrows a few miles down. So dead ahead at the base of that canyon wall is this cliff that must be probably about 150 feet up from the bottom, and we just noticed that there is a petroglyph way up there. You should be able to see a stick figure pretty clearly in that alcove. And again, that is a huge distance up, middle of the canyon wall. Alright, so we've set up camp for night number, is this 3? What is this night number, this is night number 4, right?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
Right. It's night number 4, our camp is set up, and you can see like massive red rock structures behind me, which looks totally different than what Kanab Creek looked like when we started out. As far as desert canyons are concerned, this like upper and lower Kanab Creek together are like one of the most diverse desert canyons I've ever hiked in. Like what we hiked yesterday in Showerbath Spring was this lush green riparian area with like hanging gardens and just water dripping down from the ceiling. And then we camped at like the dry confluence of Jumpup Canyon and Kanab Creek yesterday, and it was just like these dark, kind of like grayish black and sort of orange tinted, just giant rock spire kind of narrows. I don't know how else to describe it. And now what we're in is kind of this, just like, I don't know how else to describe it, just like red rock, kind of southern Utah Canyonlands vibe to it. So just really, really cool. But anyway, so behind me is actually where we're going up tomorrow on day 5. So right back here is the Lawson Trail, and that's going to be able to take us up onto the Esplanade, where we're going to hike day 5 across back to Jumpup Canyon. So this will be basically our 3rd time going into Jumpup Canyon on this trip.
Yeah.
And we're eventually going to get to Jumpup, or I guess lower Jumpup Spring tomorrow in camp, and then we'll be taking Jumpup Spring, or Jumpup Canyon rather, the way we came in back to the car on day 6. Poke my head out on my tent, like
Yeah.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Good morning. It is day 5. All right, we're heading out on the trail. So what you see right behind us, this slope here, That's where we're going to be hiking up today. It's called the Lawson Trail, I believe. It's totally unmarked, but there are some cairns that go up to it. There's a giant cairn in the drainage, and that's the only way we found it yesterday. We were kind of walking around before we made camp, kind of looking for it, but yeah, we found it. So we're gonna go up onto the Esplanade, and head about 10 miles out on the Ranger Trail today, and have some really awesome views. And eventually, we're gonna drop back down into Jumpup Canyon and camp by Lower Jumpup Spring. So we are gonna be climbing up these rocks. Nice, steep, but well-marked route. There are cairns through here, and it's a very well-defined trail through here. Really cool view of this sort of natural window showing the higher plateau beyond. We are gaining a lot of elevation really quickly. I think this is about 800 feet in a little under a mile. We are pretty much on top of the Esplanade layer now. Somewhere down there are the canyons we were just in. In that direction is the way Kanab Creek goes down towards the Grand Canyon. Ranger Trail now, and we're contouring along the Esplanade for the next few miles before we enter Jumpup Canyon. Even though it is pretty much up and down along the whole way, the trail is in really good shape and it's pretty fast to walk it. Yet another balanced rock. We are still climbing up. Wow, check out this view. So ahead of us is the Ranger Trail. That's the direction we are going along the Esplanade. Way out there is the rest of the Kanab Creek Wilderness, and this big canyon out here, this is Kanab Creek. Kind of right over here, and that's where we were hiking yesterday, all along that. It's a pretty long canyon. We're just surrounded by these giant kind of plateau features and goosenecks. That opening out there, that's Kanab Creek. It's starting to look a lot like the Tonto Shelf of the Grand Canyon. F-16s?
F-14s or something.
F-14s, some kind of fighter jets just flew right over us, just two of them just flying down the canyon. That's the second time that's happened to me out while backpacking. That's awesome. Okay, so the trail is going down now, and looks like we're going down, down, and then up, up through all this kind of canyon country. Dave is making his way down. You should see him kind of way out on that line out there. Just have ever-changing views out here. Kind of bypassing around this canyon. This one is very walkable to me, so maybe this is one of the ones that were mentioned to us, but I don't really know. Right in front of you, it's just kind of a little steep thing. Yeah, I was a little surprised too. All right, we're gonna bench walk a bit. I do love me some bench walking. You like bench walking, David?
I love it. It's pretty cool, man.
Following the opening of this canyon, this big pour off. Just check out that view behind me. Freaking awesome. These just keep getting better and better. We're taking a quick break up here, and we're going to be going down this way in a sec, but I thought first that I would kind of preview part of the route, because it looks like we're going to drop down into this canyon probably. What a cool view. And then it looks like we're going to go down into this canyon here, and the trail is going to pop back out somewhere over here. It looks like the trail is going to head down there, and then way off in the distance we can see it's going to pop through there, and we're going to be walking through some slick rock. A lot of it looks like. So a little while ago I zoomed in on kind of a tower hoodoo, and I think that's about our halfway point. We're still just heading along the ranger trail, contouring through the Esplanade, and I think maybe less than 4 miles to where we enter Jumpup Canyon. So out there, down there anyway, I believe that is Jumpup Canyon. We're going to be entering that canyon farther up in a few miles. We've been kind of walking across the slick rock bench. The trail's kind of behind where the camera is. Starting to look down into Jumpup Canyon. That's what we're going to descend to in a few miles, so we're heading up to the left. Eventually, the trail is going to drop right in there. Rock boot, according to Dave. That's pretty cool. And in the shot you can see on the right Fishtail Mesa, and then further out here you can see it's like Sowats Point out there. Place to explore. These giant sort of toadstool shapes and hoodoos everywhere. I finally have caught up with Dave, I think. We are hiking right below Jumpup Point. rock out there kind of reminds me of like a finger pointing to the stars. We're still on the Ranger Trail. We're getting crazy wind. Dave and I, we're in different spots on the trail. I got kind of blown over, and he was kind of getting blown over too. It looks like it was probably like a 50 or 60 mile an hour gust. Straight up like UFO rocks. I don't know a better term for something like this.
That's cool. Like that's gotta be wind erosion, right?
Yeah, usually wind. Sometimes it's ice, you know, water, but I don't know enough about geology to comment.
That's so cool, bro.
There's more over here, more UFO rocks. This place is covered with them. We're at a point now where we can finally see the Jump Up Canyon Narrows. So that's down where we're at on day 2. We're on a long uphill section right now. It's climbing up high, but the views are getting better and better. Looks like we probably reached the high point of the Ranger Trail, so we're still contouring along. We're basically gonna head the canyon where Jump Up meets the Jump Up Nail Trail. Just incredible. Down there is lower, I guess upper Jump Up Canyon. Up this way is the sort of the, I guess you could call it the North Rim, but it's not really. Nice sandy flat bench out here, perfect for camping, and then like right next to it, you know, this giant boulder fall. It's kind of funny actually. Down here, some cool rock crack stuff. So where we are, I want to guess anyway, based on how close the opening to Jump Up Canyon is about 2 miles or less from the opening of it. And then we'll be walking down Jump Up a short ways to Lower Jump Up Spring to get water and then find some place to camp down there. So that opening straight ahead, you can see that is the opening to Jump Up Canyon. So we're gonna be heading kind of down that way. We're cruising now. I think the worst of the uphill is behind us. What an awesome view behind me. So we are just starting to get close to the opening of Jump Up Canyon. I think it's probably about 1.5 miles away through that canyon there. And we'll be camping down in the canyon somewhere down this way. Spot over here. Cool little Kind of a small slot. Not much. But yeah, that's running down into Jumpup Canyon. Big old mushroom or tower or whatever. It's enormous. We are getting close to heading the opening of Jumpup. Somewhere near those trees is where we're gonna camp, Lower Jumpup Spring. All right, we in the zone, the descent zone. Dropping into Jumpup. Again, we finally hit our trail junction. Oh, it does say mileage. It says half a mile to Lower Jumpup Spring. We're just gonna set up camp as soon as we find water.
No green oasis up there.
Beautiful. Green trees up ahead. This canyon is already beautiful. I think we just have to walk a little ways to water. What a contrast to what we were just hiking. It's so green down here. All of a sudden, we've been in this kind of sea of red sand and slick rock all day long, and now look where we're at. Still walking towards the spring. Upper Jumpup Canyon is pretty neat. Looks very different from Lower Jumpup Canyon with the narrows. We'll see. We have enough light left. We can go back to that big flat spot. So like the upper part of Jumpup Canyon is completely different than I expected. It's very narrow with this small stream running through it, and we're kind of just looking for a campsite now. We might have to go back up. We really don't know what's out here. All right, it is filter time in Lower Jumpup Spring. We are collecting a couple of madmen. So yeah, it's getting a little bit hard to keep our feet dry, and I'm told people camp on that platform way back there. So that was one of the unknowns on this trip, was the Lower Jumpup Spring area and whether there were any camping opportunities, and it looks like it's quite limited unless we go a little bit downstream, but we're already over half a mile in. So we saw about 20-minute, 15-minute walk back up. We saw a nice big flat spot to set up, so we're collecting water and heading back up, and we're getting enough for the hike tomorrow out back to the car. All right, we are just getting to our campsite on Slick Rock.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this is great.
Look at that up there.
So we got good platforms for sleeping over here.
This is cool.
Okay, camp is officially set up for night number 5, and it is an epic campsite up on this high slick rock bench. We have a pretty monster view of the tallest parts of the canyon walls in the Kanab Creek Wilderness, part of Upper Jumpup Canyon. There is Dave with his tent.
Hello.
Having a little fight with his quilt.
No, I'm fluffing it.
He's fluffing it.
Fluffing it.
Puffing it.
Making it poofy.
Okay, so since this trip is nearly coming to an end, I wanted to kind of just show like an overview map of basically our entire route and what we hiked from start to finish, including today's hike. So on day one, we came down the Ranger Trail, a few miles, and camped. I think we took the Jump Up Nail Trail to Sowats Canyon and camped at Mountain Sheep Spring. And then we traveled down Sowats Canyon to Jump Up Canyon, hit the Narrows, and went down that, and we actually camped at the confluence of Kanab Creek and Jump Up Canyon a couple nights. In between that, on the third day rather, we ended up going down to Showerbath Spring and back up to our campsite. And then the last couple days, day 4 and 5, we went up Kanab Creek, that 8 miles, and camped near the Lawson Canyon route. And then today we took the Lawson trail up back onto the Esplanade, and most of the day we've been following the Ranger Trail, just contouring along the Esplanade and been working our way through all of this slick rock stuff, and it was a pretty awesome day. So then we jumped back into lower Jump Up Canyon, and actually this map is actually incorrect. In fact, I knew about this. Lower Jump Up Spring is listed as being right at the junction of the Ranger Trail and the Jump Up Nail Trail, and that's actually incorrect. It's actually half a mile down till you hit the water along that Jump Up Canyon. So yeah, you got to kind of walk a ways. No 10 minutes of this hike looked alike. It was a pretty awesome adventure. Climbed up and immediately got onto slick rock on the Esplanade, and we just kind of went in and out of the Esplanade layer and kind of that red sandy kind of sagebrush stuff that you find more on like the Tonto Shelf of the Grand Canyon. And we just kind of contoured that kind of stuff, and eventually we got down into like serious slick rock country that just looked exactly like the Canyonlands Needles District to me. I think tomorrow the plan is simply to just scramble on down off of this campsite, walk back up, Jump Up, and back to the car. It's going to be the shortest day of the trip tomorrow. But I think that calls it for night number 5. See you tomorrow. Good morning. It is day 6. This is the last day of the trip.
Family Death on Film. I hope they smash that like and subscribe for more. Little bush of trust.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Drainage down there. Dave's being the guinea pig. I was the guinea pig on the way up. That means Dave has to be the guinea pig on the way down.
It's a lot easier to start butt first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I'm gonna keep going right.
I'm afraid of blowing out my shorts. And we are hiking up Jump Up Canyon. It's basically the same exact route as day 1 in reverse, but with the addition of this part of Jump Up Canyon with the spring. So probably about 5.5 miles back to the car. A real short day. Upper Jumpup Canyon. Canyon smells weird when you go by the cottonwoods. It's like a sour, almost like rotting sour milk odor. I have no idea what it is, but it's been noticed a couple times in the riparian areas slightly above springs down low in canyons. Kind of strange. We are done. Here's Dave's truck. Pack out your trash. What did you say?
I said chafing is real. Pack out your trash. Enjoy the canyon.
Yeah, we are done. It was friggin' amazing. We had just perfect weather the entire time. Up here, you can see it's just like high forest rim country. And what we just hiked through was like, we just dropped down into deep canyons. I mean, you saw like the Narrows on day 2, and that was only the second day in. And we kept getting lower and lower. I think like in total we dropped over 3,500 feet, I'm guessing, of elevation. I don't know for sure.
This being my first time, you know, out here, and with the experience that he's had in canyon country with the other videos and trips, I came in here kind of with a preconcept, you know, like a set in my mind on what I was going to expect, and about 3 hours into the trip, everything just went right out the window. I mean, and every day it was something completely different than the next. You know, goosenecking around when we were down in the canyon bottoms, you know, you get all the cool views. When we got down to Showerbath Spring, I mean, it was just like an oasis in the middle of nowhere.
That for me, like seeing Showerbath Spring, that was one of the highlights for sure. I saw a lot of pictures of it, but like there's like no video.
No.
There's like hardly any video.
And you got to go there.
You have to see it. The pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
It's like the hanging gardens in there are like something else. The only thing I could think of is like that, like June in the Gila Wilderness, in like the middle fork of the Gila River, where it's just so green and the water is clear and blue.
I have to say yesterday, hands down, took the cake
Yes.
for the trip.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was Showerbath Spring, the Jump Up Narrows, and hiking the Esplanade along the Ranger Trail yesterday. Just 10 miles of that. Just going through like slick rock and what, I don't know if it's like the Tonto Shelf layer. I kind of doubt it is, but it looks just like it.
But yeah, I mean, the whole time going around Jump Up Point, I mean, you get these wide open canyon shots, and you can literally just sit there and point them out and start imagining like where your next trip's going to take you in here.
Exactly.
And you know, we saw a few people. I mean, we ran into one cool couple that was going back the way that we came.
Those people were really cool. They gave us like a lot of intel on this area. I mean, I think on the first day we saw a group of what looked like maybe 8 people.
Yeah.
And then we saw, on our second day, we saw people coming out of Kanab Creek from like the Showerbath Spring area, I'm guessing.
The one couple in the Narrows.
Yeah, and then when we went down to Showerbath Spring, there was like 3 groups that came out that day. And after that, after we went up that way, it was just that one couple we saw on that 4th day. It was very desolate and remote feeling and very just isolated out there on that last like couple days.
Just take whatever you have in your mind and throw it out the window.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Absolutely.
every turn is an adventure out here, and it was hands down the best trip that I've ever had.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
man. Yeah, it was an awesome hike. So, but yeah, I think that ends it for this trip. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Like if you like and subscribe for more. Later.